Madam President, the American people have gotten a lot of lip service over the past 10 months. Remember draining the swamp, fighting for forgotten families? Well, the president apparently forgot them when he filled his cabinet with a who's who of Wall Street. Or how about every single American having better, cheaper health care? Well, that was, of course, before Republicans tried to kick millions of people off coverage, increase costs for millions more, and gut protections for people with pre-existing conditions. You'd think it would be tough to top all that. But here we are, watching us Republicans, led by President Trump, twist themselves into knots trying to convince hardworking families that the GOP tax plan is anything but a high-priced giveaway to millionaires, billionaires, and the biggest corporations. It's a high-priced giveaway paid for by, you guessed it, middle class and those who can least afford it. This is so wrong, and I'm glad, finally, that phones across the Capitol are today lighting up with constituents demanding to know how anyone promising to represent them could possibly put their name on this terrible partisan fast-track bill, because they see the same nonpartisan reports we all do. They know, expert after expert has confirmed what we all know. The Republican tax plan will hurt millions of everyday Americans, including those who are already falling behind in an economy that tilts further and further in favor of the wealthiest few. They know the Republican tax plan takes money out of their pockets. They know it guts their health care by spiking premiums and leaving millions of Americans without the coverage they need. They know it papers over our nation's paid family leave problem, instead giving corporations a massive giveaway and leaving families who need to care for loved ones in a lurch. They know it adds trillions of dollars to the national debt, setting up, once again, the perfect foil for Republicans to then come after Medicare and Medicaid and Social Security and other middle-class priorities when that bill comes due. And in case that wasn't enough, the Senate Republican tax bill adds a backdoor attempt to open the Arctic National Wildlife Refuge to drilling for oil, just for good measure. Madam President, Republicans are even trying to pay for tax cuts for those at the top by sabotaging families' health care in this bill in a way that spikes premiums, causes 13 million people to lose their coverage, and creates more chaos in the healthcare system. And I know they're claiming that the bipartisan bill I reached with Chairman Alexander can somehow fix this if it's signed into law, and that other bipartisan legislation to help states cover the costs of enrolling very sick patients might help too. But let me make very clear, that is wrong. This is the classic example of trying to fit a square peg into a round hole, and would be cold comfort to people across the country who will struggle even more to get the care they need, while at the same time watching massive corporations get more tax breaks that they don't need. So, Madam President, if anyone was still under any illusion that Republicans are concerned about the middle class or fiscal responsibility or even regular order, that ends here and now. This is shameful and wrong. But I have to say, it is not too late. So I say this to my Republican colleagues. Let's move right now to the bipartisan work we know that our constituents actually want and expect. Let's return to a process that allows a true debate about our values and priorities as a nation. Let's talk about ways to help our workers and actually grow the economy from the middle out. Things like accessing high-quality childcare and pre-K to all of our working families, or things like providing meaningful paid family and leave for every American, making college more affordable, investing in retirement security for our workers, supporting our veterans, making health care higher quality, more affordable, more accessible. Those are the kinds of conversations we should be having. Those are the people we should be investing in. And we will not stop reminding you all that every day until you give up this cruel tax plan. Thank you, Madam President. I yield the floor.